June 22nd through 24th.
And we're on. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Take one of those. Welcome back to the Manhood Tree Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. We're so happy to have you here with us on Tuesday. It's been a beautiful day. I was out for lunch today, walking around in the community, just taking in the warm weather, the breeze coming through, and so. But I said I got to get back to the office because we got to go do the Manhood Tree Podcast. We can't go another week without the podcast going. So. Just in case you guys don't know, my name is Abdul Rahman bin Muhammad, and I'm one of your hosts today. And Alonzo, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, I am Alonzo Lee Beckett, owner of Any Video.
Yes, Alonzo Lee Beckett.
So that's an old Southern name.
Yeah, Lee Beckett. Yes, sir. Today we have, I think these are some very prestigious guests on our show today. I mean, not to say the other guys haven't been prestigious.
Combined?
Together. Two guests that are very prestigious. I'm going to start off on my right-hand side. Sir, we like to start off our show by asking, who are you? And then allow you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. I ask myself that every day.
Yeah, hey, it's a good question.
Who am I? What am I here to do?
Yes.
My name is Gregory, since we're going the full name, Gregory M. Jones.
Yeah.
Greg Jones is easy.
Yeah.
Sounds like two syllables. Who am I? I am since we're talking about manhood and fatherhood and all those things around men, I would start with, this is a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take all day to answer this.
Take your time. It's okay.
Because at one of my places of employment, I tell folks to tell me who you are without your badge.
Okay.
So if I bump into you in a grocery store or someplace else, I know what your badge says. That's your title, your name, where you work.
Right.
But tell me who you are. And so since I've turned that question on them, I should be able to answer this relatively easy.
A pocket answer.
I should be ready. Yeah. Which me stumbling and procrastinating, which I'm not. So Greg Jones, who am I? I am a husband.
Mm-hmm.
I am a father.
Nice.
I am passionate about providing opportunities to folks around me.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I am a bridge. Walk across me to get to the other side, and hopefully the other side is where you're trying to get to,
right?
Maybe a different or better place. Right. That sort of wraps up who I think I am. I'm about creating opportunities and what I described. Now, professionally, folks have known me as the guy at Legacy Foundation.
That's right.
Guy at Hartford Healthcare.
Yeah.
The guy here, the guy there. But all of that, the guy who really is engaged in how we create better community around us by bringing assets to us that we can leverage and things that I have exposure to and access to. I want to be sure that others get that because I may be sitting in places that others aren't.
Right.
And if I'm sitting there, then I want to be sure that they have the access that I can provide or argue for them. So,
Greg, isn't that what it's really all about? Like being able to get access. Like a lot of times, you can be the smartest or not the smartest. You can be the fastest or not the most healthy or whatever. But if you can get access, it could actually change pretty much everything for your life. Can you talk a little bit more about why access for our young people, for men in general, is so important?
I love this topic about access. This is not a plug, but it's who we are.
Right.
At Legacy, we say talent is universal, opportunities are not.
Right.
We live that every day because we really believe that talent is everywhere. It's access, the opportunities folks get to exhibit that talent that don't exist for them.
Yes.
And so our goal and my goal, not just with Legacy in Life, is to create opportunities where you can get that access. Because we don't know, does a tree make noise in the forest if you aren't there? The old saying. You don't know because you're not there.
That's right.
So talent is there. We don't see it because we're not there. And I can tell you in all companies, corporations, organizations, there are talented people that are overlooked because they have not been able to get the access to the platform to shine.
Sure. Right.
So I think the key is people like to work on transaction and work on the talent and improving and getting people to be better. I agree that can be helpful, but I like to work on getting people to have better access.
Yeah.
Because their talent can speak for itself.
Yeah.
So I believe a key thing here is really about access. I'm gonna end on this one. Education, something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
In Connecticut, we always talk about the achievement gap,
Yes.
right? And we know that. You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
It's the folks down in the Fairfield County and the suburbs of Hartford, the suburbs of New Haven and all, whose academic achievements exceed those that are in urban environments, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
By testing standards. And I'm not an educator, by the way. My wife is. I'm around a lot of educators. My mom was. So some of this I've gotten through osmosis. So
Yes.
I sort of become the educator now. So since I've been in this thing, I'm assuming that title. But
Osmosis Jones.
There you go. I like it.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, there we go. Just if it's in the air, I'm going to be the expert.
You got it. Yep. Okay.
But what my wife and I talked about, she is the educator, is it's not the achievement gap.
Mm-hmm.
It's the access gap. Because think about this. If those students who are in question
Right.
have had the same access as those students that are quote unquote performing better, however we define,
Yes.
we wouldn't have the achievement gap.
It wouldn't be there.
Wouldn't be there. So access is key to everything we do, especially in the community. And so my thoughts are, how do I provide? That's why I sort of describe it. I want to be that person, can't do it myself, but I want to be that person that provides that access, because I know I've been fortunate to be in some situations and be in places that maybe a lot of haven't been, but what good am I if I'm going to sit at the table and do nothing?
That's right.
So access is key.
That. All right, so we got Greg Jones to my right, and over to my left.
Yes, sir.
Brother, who are you?
That's an appreciated question. Brother Kelvin X Lovejoy. I wear, although I don't have a hat on today.
Yes.
I wear a couple of different hats around here. Let's give my short Dun and Bradstreet, if you will. I was not born in Hartford, but I was raised in Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 57 years young, coming up on Friday, and I have spent most of my life, all of my life, on the north end of Hartford. Some of these hats that I wear, right? Yeah. So, I'm a father and a husband, a brother and an uncle. I grew up again on the north end and went to the various north end schools that are in our neighborhood. Vine Street, which is now Milner, MLK, Fox Middle, which is no more. I graduated from Weaver High School in 1985. I jumped right into the world of work. Although I did have some time, if you will, when you're young, not knowing which direction, and you get caught up in neighborhood activity. And so some wayward activities as young men get involved with. But my mother had implanted some very good stuff in me. And, amazingly enough, so from 1985, and in that short period at 95, I was helping to organize the Million Man March.
Nice.
And so, so I'm a student minister now at Muhammad's Mosque, number 14 here in Hartford. I'm also the director at Blue Hill Civic Association for community organizing and outreach. And I have a 30-year career of youth, family, and community development.
Awesome.
So you'll find most of my time working with young people, their parents, and helping them to gain access in this community so that they can have a better quality of life.
I'm so looking forward to this conversation today, because I feel like, of course, I respect the two of you very much. So, did you want to tell us anything new about you before we got into this today? I just feel like I don't want to leave you out.
We'll get to it as we go.
Okay.
It'll come up.
All right. Just want to make sure. All right. So we always start off every episode with a meditation minute. Now, if either of you are feeling like you have a minute of meditation you just want to throw on us, we're more than willing to take that in right now.
What are any of your views? Do you have views on meditation, affirmations, and all those things? Do you have any views on that? Do any of you do any of that?
Yeah.
Like affirmations, manifestations.
Yeah, I actually have one that I've been teaching for about 10 years to my students.
Okay.
And we call it the Student Creed. And this affirmation, is something that we have taught to over 1,000 students in the city of Hartford. And it's a call and response.
Okay.
And so if you don't mind, I'll do the call. And
let's go for
I
it.
can do the response?
Yeah.
So it's very simple. It goes like this. It says, I am a student.
I am a
Student.
Seeking to be a scholar.
Seeking to be a scholar.
The standard is excellence.
The
The standard is excellence.
Today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow.
I'm disciplined, focused, and on time.
I'm disciplined, focused, and on time.
I'm organized, respectful, and responsible.
I'm organized, respectful, and responsible.
I'm on a mission
I'm on a mission
to elevate myself,
to elevate myself,
my family,
my
family,
my community,
my community,
and humanity.
and humanity.
Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe.
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 Okay.
I like that.
That was a good
I like
one.
that. I like that. Well, I do that. I do a lot of affirmations in the mirror, and I talk to myself a lot. We were speaking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if it works for me, right? Like telling myself that I'm great. I'm going to do these. I'm going to do all these things, and be doing that. Then afterwards, meditating on it or thinking about it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I think that helps me start my day. So
Yeah.
I just wondered, like other people, successful people, I was like, do they do that as well, or is it something that? Because also when you read, I also like to get affirm that I'm firm, but affirmation from like when you read the books, you get a firm affirmation that what you're doing is right.
Right.
So in the same sense, like when I ask you when you do it, so I feel like, hey, I must be doing something right because that sort of thing like that.
I think it's a cheat code. I think affirmations and meditation, all those type of things are like a cheat code where it's like I'm very big. The word I like to use is visualization. Like I like to dream a little bit about this is my future.
Yes.
And many things that I dreamt up have become all reality. And I think that the sooner we can teach young people how to dream and like really like see themselves in the dream, not dream of somebody else, but really kind of like visualize themselves in a place that they would like to be, doing what they would like to do. I think that would be a very powerful thing. So I I can attest to the power of dreams and visualization. So I do that often.
My understanding of it is everyone knows like your body is it's electric, correct?
Yeah.
So it's electricity,
Right.
But people know that perfect example. Say you're at an event with a bunch of your friends. Like we're all friends, but maybe you two went to college together and heard this particular song. We like the song, but we wasn't in college with you.
Right.
So when that song comes on, you act differently than we still like it, but you have some type of bond.
Yes.
Right. So what they're saying is that like words have vibrations.
That's right.
They have. So like when like you hear a certain song, the wavelengths, the frequency of the song, it kind of imprints on your DNA.
Right.
You don't even know it's doing it, but it does that. So when you hear it again with that person, you two have a response to it. So saying that, meaning that when you hear words, like we hear these songs all the time, they have an effect on them. Don't even know the vibration of the song has an effect on them because you're like, murder, murder, kill, kill. Of course,
That's right.
you're going to have that mentality.
Yeah.
But if you listen to people say, church people, they're like, oh, they're always, nothing ever bad happens to them or whatever they say. They're always you know why?
Right.
You think about it, they're not, every day they're positive.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing negative, no energy or vibration or whatever is coming into their area. So they're allowed to be their full selves. There's no negativity. They shy away from that. And other people in our community,
Right.
it's all around us, even though they don't know it.
Yeah.
Right. The bad food, the vibe is horrible. So then it breeds all the problems, I guess you would say, we have now because of just what we listen to, what we consume. Right. And it's all on like the vibration, the energy level.
So I like where you kind of like took us just then, where you kind of brought in the community, right? So like you just said, the way they eat, what they're listening to, the environment that they live in. I think that all of those things are crucial for either success or failure. And so tonight our topic is, what is the responsibility of the men in our community? So so we're talking about the community as a whole, but I think that men have a unique responsibility in our community. And I have my ideas on it, but since we have these two great men here with us tonight, I figured this would be a good opportunity to hear some of your thoughts about, what. So let's just start off with that. What do you think the responsibility is of the men in our community? And I have, of course, many follow-up questions to that, but who would like to take it first?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm reminded, when I see this question, I'm reminded of when we fly or you fly on an airplane, and they say, in the unlikely event, I need to get closer.
Yeah.
I'm usually loud, so usually people don't have a problem hearing me sometimes. In the unlikely event that we lose cabin pressure, put on your mask first.
Right.
And then assist others around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a key responsibility for us is to put on our mask first.
Okay.
Sometimes we, in the attempt to help others, when we've got no mask on ourselves, and you think about that scenario, just picture that.
Right.
When you've got a mask on somebody else, and they're being accommodated, but you're not, and you're trying to help out others. So I think a large part of our responsibility is to put on our mask first. And what does that mean? That means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Right.
It could mean your mask is your family, your mask is your children, your mask are your friends and associates. It's almost being selfish without being selfish, but there's nothing wrong with that if you use it in that context.
Nah, yeah.
Because you have to really be who you are and be responsible for yourself before you can start to help others out. Right. So I think the first thing is for us to put on our mask first. And whatever that mask is, if that is your employment, if that is your family, it is that your education, but do self, because we talk also about men and the issue we have about mental wellness, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And sometimes I think, not being an expert in this area, but sometimes I think that is because we like to take on broad things. There are a lot of reasons why, but I think we need to look inner and say the responsibility of men in the community first is to deal with me, because as a strong me, I can help out a lot of other people.
Right.
And then as a strong me, I become a model for other folks in the community without me even knowing, without me working about it, right? Yeah. Oh, you got to be a role model, you got to be a role model. Well, if you're doing those things of taking care of self, and if self is education, self is employment, self is respect for folks around you, then you're already becoming a model without even knowing it.
Right.
So I think the primary, there are a lot of other things, but I think the primary one is for us to think about and put on our mask first, because we don't know that. We don't work hard enough at that. We think we are, but we always have to continue to work hard at it.
I like it. You want to jump on that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we have a commercial actually in the nation, and when it comes on, you hear the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he says there's a need in our community for universal change, but it has to start with the man. And then it goes on and it speaks about how every man, no matter what his creed, what his religion, has to be a man of God. And so I use that as a foundation, that the greatest, if you will, responsibility for men in our community is to manifest the highest self.
Right.
And that is God himself. And so, you know, if you take a look at our community today, we have a lot of death going on, a lot of misery going on, a lot of hurt, pain, and trauma. And I would say, you know, in my humble estimation, it's because we have lost the spirit of God. And many of our young people, and I deal with a lot of teenagers, especially teenage males, who today in their language, you know, they talk about being on demon time. I had to learn what that was.
What is that? I don't know what it is. Tell me.
Demon time. And I literally was doing a workshop last week with some young brothers, and they mentioned demon time. And I said, brothers, while I came to give some information, man, I came to learn too.
Tell me something about that.
And so they talked about demon time being just a mindset where, you know, you just don't, I'm going to use another language, you just don't care.
Right.
All right?
They don't give a shit.
Or something along those lines. You know, IDGA.
Oh, you're going the other way. Okay.
And so they talked about having these ops or opposition, you know, and they out there beefing in the streets.
Right.
And they beefing hard. Not with hands and fists, no. With weapons.
Right.
And not just with weapons, but automatic weapons.
Yeah.
And demon time is where, you know, if you see your ops, no matter where they are, it's a green light. No matter who they're with.
Right.
They're with their mom, their grandmom, they're with their little sister, their girlfriend. It don't make a difference. It's on.
Right.
So demon time, all right, is when you're willing to do whatever it takes to get after your opposition. And so if human beings, if our young people can manifest a demon spirit,
right,
well, then you should be able to flip the coin over.
I like it.
And manifest a God spirit as well.
I like it. You know, it's interesting because a lot of times I think a lot about, like, how do we get there? How do we get to that point where our young men in our community, they like I said, they're not seeing themselves kind of like, I'm gonna do something great. They're so caught up in, like, I got this beef, and this beef is so important that I'm not even thinking about my life, like my real life. You know, and I've been doing one of my groups in the prison at Cheshire.
Okay.
And so the average guy in my group has 25 years. They've been in jail already 25 years.
Wow.
And so when it's almost like I wish I could connect these men with these young men, because all of them used to be young.
That's right.
They were on demon time. And now they have a very clear mind because they've had all this time. They had nothing but time to think through what's been going on with them.
Yeah.
And now they say, you know, we go through the group and they're like, man, and they can pinpoint when their trauma, because that's the other thing. You don't just get on demon time just off of, there's other things that's behind that, right?
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, going back to the question, I feel like it's the responsibility of the men in our community to like, I feel like that we have to go to another level. I see a lot of men who they try to stay young men. They dress like young men. They talk like young men. They want to remain cool like young men. And I feel like I'm kind of happy I have a gray beard.
Okay.
Because I can't hide it. I'm a grown man.
Come on.
And I want to be an example. Like, I'm always cognizant. Like, a lot of times, like, I wear a shirt and tie most days.
Yes, sir.
And early in my career, I made a decision to do that because I always said that I'm gonna be ready for the situation. The situation ain't gonna be ready for me. It's like a choice, because I feel like if I dress a certain way, I might get in the door that I may not get in a different attire.
Right.
Because I always believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I always believe that people are looking at you a certain way. I know that my skills should get me in the door, my break, but sometimes it's this shirt and tie that gets me in the door.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to be an example for young men so that they could be able to say, like, well, this guy is somebody that I could just copy. Like, that's what I did. My dad, right?
Yep.
I just copied him. I was like, this dude is doing this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Boom. You know, and so I I could go on, but go ahead. So I saw you wrote something down. So.
No, I was just thinking that once kids get incarcerated, and then those bad kids turn around, it's because they're given like options, right? They're given things to do other than, because most of the time when kids do things, have ideas around here, they're looked at as being, that's weird, that's not cool,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even to read, like, it's not cool, so they want to fit in, right? So the options that I think kids need is somewhere where they could go somewhere and be themselves, like no judgment.
Yeah,
they never learn to be themselves. They never even get to it.
It's like and then it's also the we were talking about the environment,
right?
It's like the Tyrone the rat experiment we always talk about, right? Like how they put a rat, gave him all this bad food and all these other things, and he didn't survive,
right?
And they gave another rat everything he needed to survive, and he thrived.
Okay.
They switched him, and the one that was thriving in that same area that was desiccated, had bad food, the housing was bad, they were crunched up, he kind of revolted to doing that. So he ended up doing what the bad rat was doing.
Yes.
And also they end up, after like a year-long study, they started like stealing food from each other. They started having, the men, rats started having sex with each other. Right? They started having baby rats, and then wouldn't go back and like help the mother.
Right.
It's like the same thing that happens now. So it's like, all the experiment, it works. Like, it all works. And going back to, we were talking about the kids and the demon time, it's all in the music.
Right. Yeah.
We both like hip hop. I can't even listen to it anymore because it's like a whole different genre.
It's different.
Right. So it's like, and they're feeding our kids this, that it's on every station, and it's good. And then they have these, it's the way they dress it up.
Right.
And we don't have a father in the house to be like, yo, bro, that's
turn that off.
That's not it.
Yeah.
So it all kind of compounds that.
Yeah.
You mentioned your dress.
Yes.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Social scientists tell us that people take 7 seconds to see who you are.
Wow.
They see you coming down.
Right.
Now, and so I applaud this,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know this. And I tell students all the time, it may not be right, okay, but you got to play chess.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Say that again.
You know, it may not be right, but you got to play chess.
That's
You got to be in the game so you can sort of navigate your way through it.
Right.
And how you look, with all due respect, has something to do with how comfortable people feel with you. Now, that's playing the game. I get it. And so I say to folks all the time, you know, they say, well, you can't judge a book by a cover. No, you can't.
You can't.
But have you ever walked through a book that the cover is blank and you pick it up and start reading it?
That's right.
It's unlikely.
That's right.
It's unlikely that
Right.
you're going to read a cover that's blank.
Exactly.
And, oh, this will grab my attention.
Right.
They put pictures and stuff on the book.
That's right.
So this idea of a presentation,
Mm-hmm.
however it's for you, whatever's comfortable, I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in your case, it's a suit and a tie.
Right.
It works well. Somebody else's case, it might just be casual. It might be, you know, jacket. Somebody else, it might be T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, just understand there's no difference between the guy who looks good in the T-shirt and the guy that has a suit and tie if he feels comfortable. It exudes a level of confidence. So just be sure that when you, whatever you have, that you're exuding that confidence because that's what they're seeing.
I like it.
And that's where it comes across sometimes in dress and other stuff.
So let me throw this on you. So you mentioned chess.
Yes.
I was watching.
I don't play, by the way, but
I got it.
I know the
I don't
rules.
either. I don't want anybody coming.
I know the rules too.
I know the rules.
Listen.
I play chess.
Okay.
No, I know how to play chess.
I know how, but I don't.
But everybody gets so competitive with chess. Listen.
It's like spades.
Yeah.
No,
See,
spades is very
see,
different.
see.
I'm a great spades player.
See.
This is the other day I was watching a podcast, and one of the guys on the podcast was making a very great point about chess.
Mm-hmm.
He says a lot of people like to use the chess analogy when talking about our community.
Yes.
But then he said, this was deep too. He was like, you know, our community is not like chess.
Right.
Because chess is a game.
Yes.
And chess, you start off, everybody, it's supposed to be a war, but it's a war where everybody has all the same pieces. And one of the things about wars is that right out the gate, one of the people in the war might have more pieces, might have more people out there. And the other thing is with chess, most people do a strategy. There's strategy in chess where you come out and then you know the move that you're supposed to do. But the thing about the real world is that the strategy, you come with your strategy and they already got a whole nother strategy coming that you weren't even planning for that ain't on the board. Right. It's like we playing in the you stay in the boxes on chess. Yeah. But in the real world, you come out. So I just found it very interesting when he was like saying like all the things that, you know, that we like chess. We like to use it as the analogy, but the reality is that none of it is fair. Mm-hmm. None of it is. There are no rules in the real battle that we're in, and we got to start thinking beyond just the chess analogy because when you're in a war, when you're trying to play by the rules, and the other team doesn't play by the rules, that's true. You lose every time. You lose every time. That was a little sidebar. Yeah.
Well, you know, what I would add to that is two things. So, you know, there are many principles in chess that apply to real life, if you will. But at the same time, you know, I would tell that young man definitely learn to play chess and also read The Art of War. Because The Art of War was based on the ancient and traditional philosophies around war itself. And so, you know, while the principles and philosophies of chess, you got to play inside the rules, you know, when you sit down with a chess player, they're not moving piece by piece. Right. That person has 3 or 4 different moves already planned out, which test your skills. And so, you know, we always say this analogy that this is chess, not checkers. Right. Because in checkers, you know, you just jump in piece by piece. No, I've got 3 or 4 steps already planned out. I'm waiting to see exactly what you're going to do. And so when the opposition plays, I see that. All right. But I'm looking to see, why did he do that? And then what is my response? And not only my response, but how am I going to then act on that situation? Right, right.
So in our community, how do we combat the negative influences? What is right now? Is there a plan that you guys have in mind? I'm gonna start with you, Zoe.
It's easy for me.
Oh, what's the easy answer?
You have to do what he does.
What is that?
You gotta have the youth. You gotta get the youth. You gotta show the youth that you can do other things.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you do that, they tell other people, but it just can't be somebody like it has to be his company.
He has his group of youth.
Everyone had the same.
He got his group of youth.
Just right. Same thing. Like
I need 10 youth right now.
And you take them to things like I went to Farmington High.
Yes.
I remember one time I went and filmed for him, and we were at Ski Sundown.
Yeah.
I used to go there only because I went to Farmington, and they was all from Avon. We were like, yo, where are we?
Right.
We're only like 40 minutes from Hartford, but we thought we were in Vermont.
Right.
And we never knew that was available to us.
Yes.
I never went back until I went and taped that, and I was in high school.
Yes.
So that tells you, because no one in my area was trying to take me over there.
Right.
And the thing is, once you go into an area like that, your personality comes out. Maybe you talk to people that you've never talked to before. Maybe you, and I always say this, it's maybe weird, probably even weirder now, but I have a lot of white friends, right? Because I went to a white school, right? When I used to come home, I have friends now to this day have zero.
Right.
Zero. Nearly almost 50. None. Just the ones that you work with.
Right.
So most people in our community have that mind frame. I'm sticking with my people.
Yes.
I ain't talking to them. They're the ops.
Yes.
They're the ops or whatever. Like, no, bro, it's a person.
Yes.
Like, you may get better, get along better with him than anybody you've ever of color or whatever. But they just don't know because they just don't go out these. They don't even go to the Argos game. They don't go that far down.
Yes.
So the education, the knowledge, to let them know that there's someone else. You go if you're driving to New York and you keep going, there's another state there.
There's another
one.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Tons of them.
Right, but no one gives them the opportunity. No one.
So you're talking about exposure.
They need exposure and education.
Get exposure and education.
They have to the indoctrination.
Yep.
You have to re-indoctrinate, right?
With
the real education.
Right.
That's what you have to do because they've given you all the tools they've given you is to work for. Just to work, basically.
Right.
To work. Make you a good worker.
Right.
Don't think outside the box. Don't ask us anything other than this. Don't take things away from the education.
Right.
Because they know you ain't going to go look.
Right. There's
and
more.
People don't know that reading is like it's a superpower.
Yes.
Because if I read a book, if you tell me about the book and I read, I'm like, why you didn't tell me that?
Right.
Because you just chose to tell me something. But if I read the book, I can. Right. But kids don't, and we don't teach that. Like, you should read this.
You should read this.
Like, wait a second, I can watch it. But they don't know that. I don't know if it's age or whatever, it's exposure, but they need to know that you could be whatever you want. Whatever you want. It's in the book. Like, it's people that have been through and gone through things that you've already gone through.
Right.
That you haven't even tried to look at.
There's more. So it's like they need exposure and they need to know that there's
M-O-R.
There's more. There's more.
Yes.
How do we deal with the negative influences in our community?
I think for me, there, it's a multifaceted answer because we have a multifaceted problem. One of the ways that myself and the folks that are on my team are dealing with this is to prepare young people and prepare them for the world outside. Right. We're struggling educationally. We're struggling financially. The family, is almost unrecognizable in many a case. So what we strive to do is to give our young people a thorough knowledge of self, that they need to understand who they are, that your history did not start with slavery.
Powerful history.
That when we talk about, the reading scores and math scores in Hartford, if there was a proper understanding of self, then, education would enlighten them to the fact that you invented writing. You invented math. Okay, when we talk about the first people to do these things look just like you.
Yes.
And even though the state of Connecticut, our governor actually in 2020 passed legislation to add Black and Latino studies in all schools in Connecticut. This was the first time that this has been done, not only in Connecticut, but we were the first state in the nation to do this.
Yes.
But yet and still, our math and reading scores are at its lowest level, in the city of Hartford. We're still struggling with the basics. One of the things that we say is that an A in Hartford is not an A in Farmington.
That's true.
An A student in a Hartford school, Hartford High School, is not an A student in Farmington, in Avon. The quality of education is not the same, and there are many factors to go along with that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we want to do is create change factors in our young people. So, the student creed is a way to wake up the mind and the consciousness, to let you know I am a student, not just in school.
Right.
I'm a student in my community. Wherever I go, I'm studying. Studying for what? To be a scholar.
Right.
And then we have them look up what it means to be a scholar. Okay? But then there's those 6 elements in there also. That you have to be disciplined, focused, and on time.
Right.
Organized, respectful, and responsible. And then that will cause an awakening to say, I'm on a mission. A mission to do what? Elevate myself. Well, who else? My family, my community, and humanity. And so that's the other aspect.
Right.
We start locally, but then we work globally.
Right. I love it.
I think education is a currency by which we navigate the world. And it's got to be at the core foundation of what we do. So how we offset this is that, and by the way, I think that there are a lot of organizations in our community. We know this through our work with Legacy because we become partners with them.
Right.
When given an extra quarter or something, we try to share it with them. But there are a number of organizations that are doing just what we're doing in pockets.
Right.
They may, look, we've got 125, 150 kids. We started out with 10 or 12, 10 years ago. But there are others that have 15 and 20 kids, and they're doing their thing.
Right.
There are others that got 20 and 30. So I think everybody is figuring out what their avenue is. Ours is education. We really believe that is the key.
Okay.
It is the key and the foundation. And we know that and especially in Hartford, in the surrounding area, it is somewhat appalling that as many black boys that are not on grade level reading. And what happens to them, they show up where you just went 25 years later. Because if they don't, my wife's getting a lot of credit tonight as she teaches me.
Good.
If they don't learn how to read by grade 3, they opt out. Right. And they opt out because they can communicate, but they'll communicate with demon time.
Right.
It's amazing to me that the guys out doing the work understand the analogy of what a demon is and how bad that is. So they can't read. Right. I'm not saying these guys don't, but they can understand the street. And so the key for us, the big difference is it's got to be strategic. What we're doing now, no pun intended, the manhood tree, growing the roots, so we can sow the seeds later.
That's right.
And that has to start with somewhere, someplace. And so for us, our strategy is youth, 3rd through 8th graders, focus on education and reading so they can navigate the world. So when you read and when you're able to do math, you get a level of confidence that it cannot be broken.
Right.
You start to access things otherwise. And so we believe that education, and I believe this, that education is the key foundation. I've seen how it's benefited me.
Of course.
And if you can get to the folks that are the 3rd to 8th grade, because by the time they get to 8th and 9th grade, and they're 2 or 3 grades behind, we all know how difficult it is to undo something that's so far behind, whether to start with before. So I think the way we change the viewpoint is to highlight those entities that are doing stuff. That's one. Because otherwise, if we don't collectively advertise all the organizations, you give me an idea here for Legacy now.
This is a good idea.
We're gonna get all the organizations in and around Hartford that we may know of that people don't know about.
Right.
XYZ. Right. Well, no, forget it. Not XYZ. Blue Hill Civic.
Right.
Hartford Proud.
Right.
We got PAL.
Yes.
We got Legacy.
Right.
Yeah. We got Dream Chaser out there. We got lots of organizations. All the fraternities and sororities got organizations.
Everybody got one.
Right? Everybody's got one. So to offset the negative, maybe we need to start highlighting the positive, because otherwise the negative, everybody's going to talk about demon time.
That's right.
And Brother Lovejoy, that got me there. That's an education to me.
That's education. Yeah. But you know what? And we got Zoe is in the room with us right now.
Yeah.
We can every one of those organizations. We can. Sometimes I speak for Zoe, but
I know.
I come up with an idea. Zoe, do this for you guys. No, but we'll videotape it.
You have to.
We have to, right?
All the time. People, all right. People pay for the video service,
right? Of course.
But I told you don't even got to use me. But I'm like, you have to tape this. Someone has to. Like,
Somebody.
if you know me,
That's right.
You should go look into it. If you like someone that does what I do, and you're doing something positive, if you don't no one's saying you got to beat your chest, but people have to be able to go online and be like, oh man, this program is, because otherwise they wouldn't know about what you're doing. They wouldn't know. So,
you know, one of the things that I will say, and you know, last year I actually taught at Weaver High School a class called Strategies for Success, strictly for ninth graders, and really to help them get a mindset to be able to survive high school. Because unfortunately, you know, they were coming out of COVID and were just in terrible shape in terms of being able to navigate. All right. But one of the things that we learned was that in 2020, once again, right, 2020, as Governor Lamont is infusing Black and Latino studies into all Connecticut schools, there's a video on YouTube, and it is entitled 200 Rappers Killed in 1 Year.
Wow.
200 rappers killed in 1 year. And they actually show every one of these young people that died in that year.
Right.
And so I usually show not even 5 minutes of that video to my students. And I say, I want you to count how many of them died from homicide, murder. All right. In less than 5 minutes, they counted over 32.
Wow.
And so they're all talking the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. Now, the reason why I say that it's so important for us to capture this is because, you know, negativity got a rhythm going on.
Of course.
Negativity
that's
has
a vibe too.
Okay. and I mean a serious vibe.
Right.
And we're still moving, you know, at a manual level with our positivity. We got to get our positivity to go viral, to go digital.
Yes.
We need to hear the type of lyrics that we grew up on with a KRS, a Rock, Kim. All right, that was, you know, back then they would have. Well, today it was trending.
Right.
We have negativity trending today. All right, and with these things right here, I'm sorry, you know, these phones.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's with you all day, every day.
Okay.
They 24/7.
Yeah.
They hitting you with a little bit of it.
A classroom teacher trying to compete with a cell phone.
It's impossible.
Is totally outmatched.
Right.
And so, you know, when I was in front of the classroom, we had to be creative.
Right, right.
You had to really make that connection with them because other than that, they tuned you out and they tuned the phone on.
Right, right. So it seems like we are in an uphill battle.
Definitely.
So you just spoke of positivity. Tell me some of the positive things that are going on in our community. You mentioned some organizations, but like tell me about a little bit more about the Legacy Foundation. Tell me about your event you got coming up this weekend, or any other things you got going on.
Sure. I'll say this very quickly. You know, our office is at 1229 Albany Avenue, the Colin Bennett Building, Blue Hill Civic Association, where I spend a large part of my time. All right. Over the last 6 months, now 7 months, we have seen this continuous uptick of violence and juvenile behavior that's going on at the McDonald's, okay? And it's really affecting the entire Blue Hills and Albany intersection, okay? We had a community meeting on March 5th. We brought in stakeholders, businesses, parents, politicians, young people, programs, and we talked about this issue and what we could do to try to make a change. And so one of the things that we came up is that we want to develop a campaign called the Safety Zone. Right. And we want to create right there at Albany and Blue Hills a safety zone. Right. From that, we started to work with other partners who are addressing this issue of violence, if you will, or safety in North Hartford. Right. And so, you know, it was on April 25th that we had a big meeting, had like 150 people out that talked about safety in our community, especially in North Hartford and really Hartford in general. Right. And so we have a campaign right now that is pushing to create a safety zone in that area, and we hope that it will again go viral and catch on so that we can have other safety zones throughout Hartford. So we got the safety zone coming. What you got, Greg?
We're in the same building, for one.
Oh,
so
okay.
Actually, the Colin Bennett building might be the center where a lot of these social and community efforts. It's almost like the incubator. They don't need me to be their real estate agent, but they might want to say, we're the center for where we create community change.
I like it. I like it.
They're going to have to sell me the building, though, so I can continue on doing that. No. But it's interesting. Blue Hills is there. We're there. Sister Jacqueline Evans is there. So there are a lot of folks in there in the community.
Right.
So what we have decided to do, if I can just talk about legacy for a minute, is that we've focused on a boutique number of students. We can't solve the school system's problems for all kids.
Right.
But we can solve it for the 100+ that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't change it for them, but I can change for them. And all of our kids are all over schools, and not just necessarily in Hartford schools. So our boutique approach is to focus on this academic excellence here.
Mm-hmm.
We provide reading, math, language arts, social justice, science, and college prep. We are actually running a mini school. We run a Saturday day school from 9 to 2.
Yep.
Our administrative offices now still have remained at the Colin Bennett Building, 1229.
Mm-hmm.
We have grown now. We're on the campus of UHart.
Nice.
So we go to college. We are figuratively and literally going to college.
Right.
And we think that makes a difference. So we have our courses with our 15 teachers that come to us. We have our own psychologist on staff that deals with mental wellness of our youth. Mm-hmm. So my goal is that if you come in under the legacy tent and you're committed, then we're going to make you one of these students here that's going to help us out when we get to this problem when Mr. Jones and Brother Lovejoy, Brother Abdul, Brother Zoe is not around anymore, that you're going to be able to do that. Because there are always going to be people that are going to need the help.
Of course.
And I can't solve all 100,000 of it, but if I can get this 100,
yes,
we can make a big difference. Share a story here. That we've been at this 10+ years now. Started as a thought and idea can make a difference, and I think we're doing that. Mm-hmm. But we had a young lady a young girl at the time was 7th grade at MLK. And we were trying to do boys at the time. She came to me and says, when are you going to do girls? I said, we'll get to it. Yeah. She calls herself Legacy Girl 1. Mm-hmm. Legacy Girl 1 was 11 years old or 12 years old when we started. Mm-hmm. Last year, she graduated from Morgan State. Now, you might say I twisted her arm.
You might have twisted her arm. Yeah.
I didn't twist her arm. Our college counselor said, you shouldn't have taken it out if you didn't think she was, you should have gone.
Right.
But she graduated from Morgan in 4 years there. Yeah. And truth be told, she'll tell you that Mr. Jones didn't want her to go to Morgan. Well, Mr. Jones wants to go to college and graduate. I want to find the right one.
Right.
And I was thinking that the fit for her may be somewhere local. Mm-hmm. Maybe somewhere, and I'm putting limits on her that I shouldn't have.
That's right.
But just based on finance and other stuff, there are other places here that she could have gone to school for free.
Okay.
She wanted that experience.
Right.
She graduated. So that's what we're doing. So this young lady, Legacy Daughter 1, as I call her, is going to be able to change. She's out doing consulting now between DC and here with a science consulting firm. She's the first in her family to go all the way through. She's going to be the engine that drives that family.
That's right.
And so it is individuals like her that's going to pull 1 or 2 out. And that's how we think we can make the change. She's going to get her career on board now, but eventually she's going to be able to see, and if it's not here in Hartford, it's going to be somewhere else where she's changing. So we want to create these seedlings that can make a difference. And we believe that doing that educationally is going to be helpful in the way we do that. So education is key for us.
I love it.
And starting them early, 3rd through 8th grade, we really don't accept them after. You can stay in with us through college, right? Mm-hmm. And Legacy Girl 1 has got her own life. She's still in Legacy. So you go through college, we're going to get you back, come help us out. But we like investing our time. As a business, and you got to figure out where you want to invest your resources, where you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck.
Right.
For us, it's the 3rd through 8th graders.
Yeah.
Because, some high schools are already smarter than us, and we've been around a long time.
That's right.
They know it all. They know it all. I'm just saying. So we don't want to write them off, but we got to figure out where we can, because, look, it's fast. 10 years.
Yeah.
This young lady was 11 10 years ago. She's finished college. So I say, folks, this just flies by.
Yeah.
So we're trying to create more like that. We got a pipeline going. But I think that there are a number of other organizations, whatever their path may be, that are doing successful things for our youth and our community.
Right. It's very important, and this is for people who are thinking they want to do something. I'm just going to speak to them. You see how very specific he was, 3rd to 8th grade. I know you work mostly with the high school students. I've chosen to work with men. And I feel like the whole men area is an area where we still got room.
Definitely.
You talk about people that know everything, but you get them into these rooms, and the whole purpose of the Manhood Tree is to have a small room to be able to talk about stuff that you ain't talked about in years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to talk about this trauma of boyhood. You want to talk about the trauma that you had, the being in your neighborhood, the roots that you have in your family, all of that stuff. This is where you give them a space to do it. And also as men, we always get told like we got to be tough. You know, we get this whole thing about being tough, and we carry that throughout our lives. And so with the manhood tree, we want to break that down a little bit and give and kind of restructure it for men. So when they finish up our group, now they got another thought process of how they want to operate as a man in our community. I think that's so it's very important that we're very clear of having these different categories of support for our community as well, because and like my wife, she's doing stuff with women, girls and women. So it's like being able, because like you said, there's always going to be a problem.
Multifaceted.
There's going to be it's a multifaceted problem.
That's right.
But guess what? If we can get 100 of them,
right.
If we can get another 100 over here, we can get another 100. Somebody gonna come out, and if our 100 go help 10,
right,
we cooking with grease.
I think you just, like you said, it's not the 100 that you're helping. You just need to know that they can go somewhere.
Right.
They have options to go somewhere.
It's out here.
Like as if some kids that may want to do something, they don't know that they can go to Legacy.
Right.
Because kids, they're not and inquisitive. They're not trying to look for things like that.
Yeah.
So they need to be like all over the place.
It's all
like,
in your
like
face.
all the bad stuff is. They don't necessarily want to do all the bad stuff, but they keep talking about it, and you're gonna they start saying it. Yeah, I wanna. He is my op. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Because that's all around them.
Yeah. Right.
But if they have all these different organizations giving them opportunity to do stuff, they'll find someone, a friend. Like, hey, I went to this. Can you come with me?
Yeah.
But they just need it. I don't think it's not a lot of like only could me knowing like, and I'm always on the internet. I'm always doing things. I'm taking from people.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot. I know like 4 or 5 people that do things.
Yes.
And it's like it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. And I'm thinking everyone.
All right. So here's the challenge. Let's say there's somebody's watching.
Yes.
There's always somebody that wants to do something.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do it. Like they're young and they like, I see Brother Kelvin Lovejoy, I see the Legacy Foundation, I see Zoe, but I don't know how to get into that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who is saying like, I want to make a change in my community right now?
Let me take this one because Brother Lovejoy is an expert in this. He grew up doing this. Okay? I'm a Johnny come lately, but I got passion around it.
Yes.
So what I tell folks, this is not, Brother Lovejoy, when he gave his resume, talked about growing up here and living here and going to school here, and has always been in the community doing things.
Right.
I have done that, but my path was different. Mm-hmm. And so to the person out there said, look, I want to do something. First of all, figure out what your passion is.
Right.
Okay? Mine is education. Mm-hmm. Now, my experience, I'm not a teacher, actually a different career path, but that was my passion. So you got to find your passion and use your passion to overlap in where you think you can help.
Right.
Videography here.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of things. Manhood Tree, you got People Clinical Services, Dream Chasing, whatever.
Yeah. Come see me, man. I got stuff for you.
You got stuff for you. Brother Lovejoy's got a number of community things with Blue Hill Civic and everything else. So find your passion and don't try to be all things to everybody.
That's right.
Find your passion and let that overlay with what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. Now, my background is almost the opposite end of what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. I came out of business school. I was a true capitalist. Still believe in capitalism.
Get that money. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I've turned that into return on investment. So when you ask the description, I always tell folks I'm a return on investment guy. Yes. Well, what does that mean? That means whatever you do, whether it's social, economic, I'm willing to figure out how you invest to get the return you want. It's not necessarily economic.
Right.
It could be community, it could be other things. The reason my legacy is how do we invest to make the change that we want to see? That's a return on investment. Mm-hmm. So my background, most of my career is investment banking. Yeah. What in the hell is an investment banker doing starting something like this? Right. Well, that's because I believe that I had opportunities and access that I wanted to transfer to someone else. Right. And we went to a couple of places. We and a couple of guys, maybe a couple of my fraternity guys went and read some books at some place. And I was like, man, I got to tell you something. This is good for social media. This ain't doing a thing for these kids. Right. Okay? It might help to see some black men coming in and reading a book. But come on, I want more. I want more. Yes. I don't know whether I want demon time, but I want that kind of poke. Brother Lovejoy, that's got me.
It's in his head.
It's got me. I want that. What we got to do as a team, that focus there on what these young men about demon time and how passionate they are about their ops and going after them.
Right.
We got to flip that to be passionate, as you said, godly and other things. And we can do that if we start younger.
That's right.
So my thoughts were around education, and I really wanted to be passionate about this because I really believe that that's the currency that makes a difference.
Yes.
I believe if we can move them here, then we can get them other places. So I say to the young man or young person out there, say, look, I want to do something. First of all, find out what it is that you are and what assets that you have.
Yes.
You have them. You got talent. Opportunities or not, right? Talent is universal, opportunities not. So you got the talent that's there.
Right.
Think deeply about what that is that you have, and then you can transfer that asset to somebody that can help. I would say the youth are a key, right? Teach your children well, right? Let them lead the world.
Right.
I was Whitney, wasn't it?
Yeah. I believe the children are the future.
There we go.
That's it.
There we
Got
go.
it.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what the focus is. So whatever it is, you can have that impact. And you could be one of these folks that have 10, 15. You don't need 100 kids. You don't need 150 kids.
That's right.
150 kids cost you a lot of money.
That's right.
They got to go places. They got to eat. They got to do stuff. You can have 10, 15, 20 kids. You can have 2 kids.
Right.
Yep.
Also, be sure inside the house is okay also.
Yeah.
Right? Do that.
Yep.
If you got some folks in the family, whatever else, then I think good. That's what I recommend to them.
What you got?
You know, I've been working in after school for a long time, and one of the things that we would see working in after school was that you would put kids in programming, right? But then they had to go back out into the same neighborhood,
That's right.
back to the same home, you know, where many a times that they learned this bad behavior.
Right.
My mother said, "What good is it to take a bath if you're going to put back on the same old dirty clothes?" And so, you know, my work is around environmental change.
Okay.
And how do we change the environment that we're sending the children back to?
Right.
Not only how do we change the environment, but how do we put things in the young people that then they take back to the environment and it starts to change.
Yes.
All right, their environment. And so when we work with young people, we don't just work with that young person. We work with that family also.
Right.
Because that's where they came from. And so we want influence with the young person that gains us access and influence to the family. And influence with the young person in the family will then give you access and influence in the community. And then we can start to change this mindset. We can start to decrease the demon,
right,
and increase the God.
Right.
And so that's a large part of our work, and people see it and they don't always understand it. You know, I mean, we call it community organizing.
Yeah.
But in that organizing, it's about empowering people. So whether they're, 16 to 61, it doesn't make a difference.
That's right.
We show them that you are the power. It's not something that we're doing for you.
Right.
But if you change the mind state, then the mind state will change the environment. And that's crucially important.
I believe that.
All right? And many a times it's just speaking to someone. Kind words. Because those thoughts become words, those words become action.
That's right.
And what the young people don't realize is that the negativity that we see, it started with a thought. Then it became a word. And then it manifests as an action. And so
Thoughts become things. That's
yes.
a good book.
Has energy.
What advice would you give if somebody's out there, they're trying to get in the game?
Well, I was always trying to be the person that I needed when I was younger.
I like when you say that.
Yeah, I try to be the person that I used to look for that I could never find.
Right.
Find a couple of men that would be, and then they would disappoint or whatever. So now I want to be I think visually. And I think if I could show you something visually, I don't really have to. Most kids, no matter how they're bad, horrible, when I start doing some video workshops, they're cool.
Right.
Because they like the video.
Yeah.
They like, because they're whatever they're thinking, I have their attention.
Yeah.
So with that, I was like, all right, so let's create some information knowledge they can get. Like we we're talking about, they go to school and you watch a movie about Christopher Columbus, you watch one about Alexander the Great and all of these Europeans, but you never know from whence they got the knowledge from. They don't tell you none of that.
Right.
So you can create. It's content out there like here and there about that, but it's nothing content where you can just come watch that. We're talking about doing the movie theater.
Yeah. So
you can come watch that because they're not going to show you, but I'm going to show you what they don't show you because what empowers the other people, the other persuasion or whatever, is that they see their history and their ancestors doing great things.
Yes.
That's what gives them this little extra. They think they're better than you.
Right.
When you don't know from where you came, but if the kids have that in them, they can talk about Mansa Musa.
That's
They
right.
can talk about these guys and have some information like these names.
Speak
You ever
on
heard of this person? They don't have that. So
Yeah.
I think that because the knowledge gives you like, man, that's a part of me.
Mhm.
It gets me excited as I'm older.
Yeah.
If I had that when I was younger, I would have moved a lot differently.
Mhm.
I would have thought of myself differently. I had to take time to be like to get over, like you're saying. You walk in the room, you could be maybe you couldn't afford a good shirt and tie, but you have everything for the ESPN job, whatever. But your shirt got a little because you didn't have it.
Right.
They're gonna judge you.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And I'm thinking, I gotta be right for this white guy.
Right.
That's how you know.
Right.
When you get older, you know, like no, I don't need that.
Right.
That's what any video. I don't need that. I could learn myself.
Yes.
I have the knowledge to do it. But I didn't know that until I saw other people like me doing things like that.
Yeah.
And when I think the kids see that, I think any black kids see they see yourself as a king, or doing something incredible they never told you, and you want to know why they didn't tell me that.
Right.
So you kind of figure it out for yourself, and it gets you to start thinking, like, maybe this isn't for me.
Right.
Maybe I'm destined to do something else.
Yes.
But they don't have all these. They just have this music.
Yeah.
And all these distractions.
The thing is that this is for there's somebody listening, right? It's you just got to get in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Every person in this room will help you.
That's right.
Not one of us would turn you away. That means there's 4 men in your community right now that you could go to each one of our offices if you wanted to.
Yes. Yes.
And you could probably get a little something from us.
Yes. 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 Yes.
If you stick around long enough, you might even get a job. You might get some money in your pocket.
Hey.
And so, but the skill that you really want is not the money skill, believe it or not. So a lot of times people they want the money, and because if you come over to my people and you want money, I'll give you one of those jobs in one of my programs. But that's not gonna give you access to me. You just be over there and you won't even see me. That's just reality. But you come over here and you meet with me every week and we talk about your ideas. I'll do that. I have time to do that. That's like kind of what I do in my free time, right? And so I feel like you have to take advantage because the thing is, this is the reality. We're on the way out.
Definitely.
We're on the end of the game. We're closer to the end. I mean, just being realistic, right?
Yep.
And we need some people at the beginning of the game to get in here and take these skills.
Yeah.
I know that we've all been in the position where we were at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And so the only way you get the knowledge, the transfer of the knowledge, you got to sit with the people that have done it.
Yeah.
Everybody in here has started a business. Everybody in here has had the ups and downs of business.
Right.
We know what it's like to make money. We know what it is to be successful. We know what it is to help our community. If you are interested, you got to sit at the feet sometimes.
Gotcha. No, you're right. All right. Can I hit on something you said
Go
just a minute
ahead.
ago?
Yeah.
So you said we're at the end of the game.
Yes.
I agree with that. Not at the total end.
Not the total.
But so Michael Baisden
Yeah.
had this thing, I don't know if you all know it, called 20 Summers. And,
Yes. I'm in my 20 summers right now.
Yeah, well, I'm living them all the time. So
Yeah.
20 summers. I talk about this, and sometimes it can sound a little morbid to some people.
Yes. I know
But
about this.
but the story for those of you know 20, and I'm paraphrasing here my own words. There's no plagiarism here because I'm adding my own twist to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 summers that we aren't when you're in your 50s and 60s.
Right.
You aren't the same guy you were when you were in your 30s and your 40s.
Sure.
You know, you might be able to go out and shoot free throws every now and then or something else, but you're not going to be that same person. So the clock is clicking.
Yes.
The clock is ticking.
Yes.
And as a result of that, when you get to your 60s and when you get to your 50s and 60s, believe it or not, for black men, I think our age expectancy has started to go up a little after it took a dip. You know, let me digress for a minute. My signal light. My wife says, when you change something, could you just put the signal light on? No, we're going to turn right here. So the signal light is on. I'm turning left for a second.
Take a quick left. Yeah.
Quick left here is that black men had life expectancy lower than what we claim as some developing countries. We were averaging life expectancy in our low to mid 60s.
Wow.
There are some quote unquote developing countries that had age expectancy higher.
Right.
That's another topic for another
That's a great
podcast.
topic. Yes.
Okay. But given that, so you're in your 60s now, so I'm coming back on the ramp now.
Yes,
back
okay.
I took the left turn and back. When you're in your 50s and 60s, you got 20 summers left.
20 summers.
Okay? life expectancy 85, whatever the case is.
Right.
This thing, but I'm not trying to be morbid. But you got 20 summers left.
Yeah.
It's 2024. Summers already started. After this one, you got 19. How are you going to live those 19? What will be your legacy? No pun intended, but I think about this every day.
Yes.
What will be your legacy? And is it helping the young man get his start? Is it making a change, whatever else? Are you living, enjoying your time period? Because how many of us we know that live and expire without living?
That's right.
And I said to my boys, this is getting morbid. I'm not trying to be in church.
I'm with you on this.
I say, look, all you got to say, that boy lived.
He lived.
He had a good time.
Right.
He impacted people, loved his family.
That's right.
That's all you got. That boy lived. Yeah. Now, the question is, are we living? Mm-hmm. Are we worried about, we got to get out as men, as black men. We got to live. I know that there are challenges. I think we're the most challenged demographic out there. Sisters would probably argue against me. Right. That's another discussion you have on your podcast. Okay, I'm giving you all your topics. Yeah. All your topics. Yeah. Jones threw all this out. He's going to come back in and fight. He's going to come back and fight with them on these topics. But I think we're the most challenged demographic out here. But in that, we have to live. We have to think about, as hard as it is and the challenges we experience, we have to find that light somewhat throughout the course of the day that makes us happy. And helping people is one way to do that. Yes. You enjoy it. But we need to think about, we have 20-something left. We got 19 after this. And what am I going to do with them? Whatever you're going to do, make that happen for you. And then as you put on your mask first to make this happen, then other stuff around you will start to resonate and start to be well for you. But when you hit that, we aren't, you know. Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to get every one of my 19 summers left.
Me too. All right. This is our wrap-up question on this topic.
It's an hour already?
Oh, it's been an hour. It's over an hour.
I love to talk.
So who are you watching? You know, I have this thing where in the community, I'm always like checking people out. And it's like trying to see like who is like somebody out there that's making moves, doing things. And so, you know, I love Warren Hardy.
I'm about to say,
I love Warren. I love Warren too. I love Warren.
Can you get the message every morning?
I get my messages
every morning, baby.
He's on a whole nother level right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I got a whole story. I mean, how Warren is totally different. You know Warren?
Oh yes, indeed.
I grew up on Earl Street. Okay. Right next to Warren. And I'll tell you, I told my mom, "Hey, Mom, when I used to work here, and Warren used to work with me." I was like, "Mom, what Warren?" She says, "Warren." Warren from Earl Street. I'm like, yeah. When I was young, my mom used to tell me, don't hang out with that. Right. He'll tell you how bad he was. No, she was like, don't hang out with him. I said, no, Warren's good now, Mom.
Great man.
And I show her, she's like, she's so amazed that he's
amazing guy.
Totally different.
But you know what I'm saying? So who are you watching out there? Who who have you put out there? And I'll give you another one. You know, Matthew Rivera. Like, you know, this is mine. He's mine. Young Matt, we put him out there in the world, you know, took over the Dream Support Network, and he's like a kite just flying in the sky. You know, he's gonna be a doctor one day. You want me to give you another one? I'll give you another one. Derek, my boy Derek. Derek, what's Derek's last name? Yeah. He plays the saxophone.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen? Yeah.
It came to the
if
I film him.
That's three. That's just three people I just see out there just making happen. Anybody you watching out there in the community?
I watch Corey. Okay. He's got the Woke Wednesdays.
Corey Betts. Oh yeah, NAACP.
Yeah, so I watch what he's doing.
Posting when he goes over on the
you gotta go over there one day.
Yeah.
I watch Tiffany.
Tiffany, okay.
Tiffany does a lot of good things.
Yes.
So I watch Tiffany over at the Y.
All the women at the Y. Yeah. The YWCA.
You're doing an event over there. I did an event with it's all women. It's just women.
The YWCA crew that's a powerful organization over there, man. It's all women. What about the EPS with the Brother Carl Institute? I was over there this weekend. I'm sorry. I
watch a lot of Eddie Brown, my boy Eddie.
Eddie Brown? Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
That's ECSU.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. You know,
I used to work at communities of care.
I'm very fortunate to have some in-house people that I'm watching.
Okay.
And, you know, I have a very small team, but very powerful team.
I like it.
And my team are all sisters.
Okay.
And so, you know, I got my eye on Sherelle Banks.
Sherelle Banks.
That's right.
Okay.
MZ. Ms. Sherelle Banks. I got my eye on Rosalie Rivera.
Okay.
All right, coming straight out of the North End, and just joined our team. And I also have my eye on Reagan Bird.
Reagan Bird.
All right. So we're gonna hook up because she went to school for this video thing and whatnot, man. We're gonna talk about our podcast.
She can come through on Wednesdays, on Mondays and Wednesdays. Do at Hartford Public Library. I got a workshop.
All right.
6:38. She come
All
through.
right.
She jump right.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. And then I've got another sister. And her name is Madison Elbert, and she again, another firebrand. They're coming up. These are all community organizers.
Okay.
And these community organizers are out on the front line, connecting in Blue Hills, connecting on Upper Albany, connecting in Northeast, connecting in Clay Arsenal.
Right.
And so many of the people that do both mention, right, they're connected to these individuals. Right. And they are doing two things. They're connecting both with youth as well as adults and bringing it into the community.
I love it. Who you got? You got anybody?
I'm troubled by names. Maybe that says that I'm not as deep as Brother Lovejoy.
Hey, man.
Brother Lovejoy just gave a whole
Cheat sheet.
So I think the people I watch may be a lot of folks that we know in and around the community. Mm-hmm. It is, you mentioned Eddie Brown, but it's also Andrew Woods, Leonard, who's doing great things over at Brother Call Institute, right? I see Brother Lovejoy from afar. So I watch folks that have got even more credibility than I have in the community, right, that are doing things. Another one is flamboyant. That's what I call him, flamboyant Fred Phillips.
Of course.
Okay.
Fred.
That's Brother Fred.
That's Brother Fred. Yeah. So I see him a lot in the community. So these are folks. He's with the Men Stand Against Violence. He's done some stuff with PAL. Yep. So these are folks that I see them that have credibility in the community that I start to pay attention, because that's important. Yes. That's really important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Hey, and
Zendaya. Oh my
God. Angel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah. She should have been at the top of the list, but definitely her.
She's up there. She's up there. There's a lot more. You got something you want to
test? Brooks Token. Test.
Okay.
Brooks Token.
Yes.
Quintessa.
Yeah.
I know her mother-in-law.
You know what? I gotta say, I'm gonna give you guys one that you guys probably know. Dr. Deshel Muhammad.
Yeah. You know what? And I want to tell you.
Who's that? Explain. Tell me about her.
And wait. In the video, I just realized in the video I did your video. You got to come by and do one.
Okay.
For the women's.
I
did yours today.
Oh.
No, but you introduced her. You didn't say she was a doctor.
She's a doctor.
But you didn't say that. You just like
she's not just a doctor. She runs everything over here, my people. I don't know what you guys think I do, but that lady, she's running. I know. I you know what? And her sister too, Sherelle too. The two of them together. The last 6 months, the agency has grown exponentially just by the work that they've been putting in. And sometimes you gotta recognize your own inside. Mm-hmm. It's like you just seeing how they're kind of like making things happen. Mm-hmm. So very, very proud of them. And our team. We have some new staff that just came on too. Marquia, I really like the work she's doing. Mm-hmm. And we just continue to try to build it up.
You have a new person for marketing, right? That's the one you just mentioned?
Oh, yeah.
Whoever that is, I don't know her name.
Her name is Sam.
Sam, all right, there you go.
White lady. Let's
make it happen. Let's make it happen.
It's all good.
It's my people. We're going crazy these days. All right, so we're in the wrap up, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, my beard is looking scruffy today, but it's continuing to grow.
I think it got there. I think
it's there. It's there. 6 months. This is the 6 month level beard. I'm going to keep going for the rest of the year.
He's not.
I am. I'm not going to touch it.
I bet he cuts it.
Nah.
It's going to happen. So I got messed up.
The 156-day challenge, just so you guys know.
I'm probably.
Are you doing good? I'm back on it. The 156-day challenge, we're trying to work out for at least 156 days this year.
Yes.
You guys are welcome to join us on that challenge anytime.
Just need 156.
You know what I realized though? I was trying to do 3 days a week. You got to do maybe 4 or 5 days a week. Some days, some weeks. If you want to get there.
What's the magic of 156?
It was basically 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
Okay.
So we were, me and we go every day.
Yeah.
What counts as a workout?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. You go for a walk. work, a lightweight
Yeah.
weightlifting,
So
jog,
yoga.
yoga.
That's
You do
cool.
the yoga. You got to talk about the men's health.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many? It's 365 in a year. When we come to June, I would have hit that number.
Yeah.
You already did yours.
I try to be active every day.
Hey, well, that's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
does golfing count?
Oh,
yes.
Oh yeah.
You gotta walk. You gotta walk the course.
That's slam dunk.
You gotta walk the course. So, we're also doing yoga. Every month, the last 3 months, we've been doing brotherhood yoga.
I love it.
So we have 4 black male yogis, and they lead us in a yoga. It's something
Where does
new.
it take place?
Manchester.
And it's in Manchester, 52 Main Street.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm a big yogi.
The next one is May 25th.
Namaste.
I've heard.
It's tough.
May 25th, we'll be there at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, we'll get our yoga on. So I'll send you the flyer. Just
The hike as well. The hike's coming up too. Right?
We also have a brotherhood. I don't know. It's called Black Men Hike.
But, yeah.
That's on May 8th. Where's my phone? I'll post it on the Manhood Tree page.
Okay.
So we got that coming up. What else? Okay, so last 2 things. What is some manhood-ish you did this week? In the last 7 days.
Oh man.
Some manhood-ish you did. So go ahead, start it off. Give them an opportunity. Go.
Well, yeah, let me start off. So
Yeah.
my mother-in-law passed on Saturday, so now
Right.
my father passed in January.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Right.
His wife passed in April, so he was going through all the stuff.
Can I interject? That's a very high level.
Oh, you tell him, yeah.
I say that every time I think.
Yeah,
It's
different
because you're like going along your life being a man, and then when you really actually start losing like major family members, it's a tough transition.
What it has me, like, I have a life insurance policy, right?
Yes.
Most of my friends don't.
Right.
So I'm here. So now I'm telling them this is what happens.
Yes.
Because now my dad had one, and then supposed to take care of everything, but they did something. Now I'm trying to figure out what they did. So we're trying to figure out stuff. Now, my wife's, she didn't have one.
Yes.
So now it's like we have to put all these things in order as well as like grieve.
Yeah.
But you got to go look through papers, read. It's like so much.
Right.
So like I was telling my son, I'm like, don't, like, it's morbid. I'm like, yeah, you have to worry about it.
Got it.
None of this is when I go, it's gonna be nice and easy for
Good.
you, so you can do whatever you have to do, but you won't have to go through this. But
Can I make a public service announcement?
Go ahead.
GoFundMe is not an estate plan for black people. Okay,
and that's what
I'm not selling anything,
Right.
but please,
Yes.
folks, I understand. We think that we're going to be here forever. You're not.
Right.
Think about the fact that, as Brother Zoe said, he makes it easy and it doesn't cost much, right? But sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
That's the thing. That's the. So what I would pack, like, if you have, it costs as much as the Netflix bill, because you're young, you're 20, you get it's like $20-$30 a month, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But people don't think about, we don't as a people.
Right.
Think about once we're going. We always want to do things for ourselves.
Yes.
Instead of like doing something for people that come after you. Especially, you should want to do it for your kids.
I actually have been. The other day, I called one of my frat brothers, right, and I was asking him why would somebody want to run for office and put up $50 million of their own money. Mm-hmm. I was confused by it. I was like, what the heck is going on? If I had $50 million, I'd be living my life, right? But so we were talking about it. He was saying basically they're not concerned about money. Obviously, they're concerned about power. Mm-hmm. They want to be a congressman, and so I'm gonna be a congressman. It's gonna take money, and so this is a mindset thing. This is another level of mindset where we're thinking about taking care of ourselves. Maybe we're gonna go to a DR or something like that. The rich people that are actually doing it, like trying to take over the world, control the world, they're like, yo, I'm gonna put up this 50 mil so that I can get a job where I can get 50 bill. And it was a very interesting concept to me to think that I was like, damn, I'm over here trying to get $1 million, and he's burning 50 for a job you get paid $250, $250,000. But it's obviously the control of all the resources is really what it's all about. And so it's amazing when you start thinking about the levels of what's going on. Anyways, any manhood issue you did this week? That was a little sidebar. Just so you guys were paying attention to what's happening in the world.
So I've got an event coming up.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm really focused on Brother Nuri Muhammad being in Hartford, Connecticut. This coming Saturday.
You got it. Put up in the
There you go. And so I've really been working on that, and it's open to the community. All right, it is community work. Yeah. It is definitely about environmental change. And the title, right, colony to community, and because we do community organizing, right, we want folks to understand, what it means to have power in the city of Hartford, Connecticut. Right. A city that is 18 square miles, predominantly park, right? And as I always tell folks, I can't be a minority in Hartford.
That's right.
In the city of Hartford, I'm the majority. And so I need to walk like it, act like it, you know what I'm saying? And make sure that those around me understand what it means to act as a majority.
That's right.
And so definitely the doors are open at 4 o'clock. It's a free event. So there's a lot of small things that I have to get done. So that's on a macro level.
Yes.
On a micro level.
Yes.
Something that I did that was
Manhood.
Yeah. That my mother had to be at a polling event. She was working a poll in Windsor.
Yes.
And she had to be there at 5:15
a.m.
this morning. So I got up and I went to my mama's house and I picked her up.
Ain't nothing like
all right.
Yes.
And that felt good.
All right. Brother Jones, what you got? What you do this week?
Something simple.
Okay. I'll take simple.
I do this almost daily, but it's exciting and invigorating.
Okay.
I FaceTime, which you just did just now, my granddaughter and grandson in California.
Yes.
Remember putting on your mask first and staying close to home?
That's right.
Just trying to build them and engage with them and show them things that their poppy does that maybe others don't at this point. They're 3 and 1. So
awesome.
the simple things.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm telling you something. Like you too. Like I know all about both of your lives so much. I've been into Facebook for pictures and stuff, so I know all of that stuff. Yeah. And you say stuff, I'm like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Well,
and you do a good job at that.
No, I'm just saying that. Like you said that, I'm like I know he FaceTimes. Like I know that. Like you probably don't know that, but I know. I'm like, how? Oh, because I look at his Facebook.
Yeah. But that's important because this is a little shout out for Brother Zoe.
Yeah.
We did the month of May, Mothers, right? And in that, it was women that you admire, and was my mom, who's an educator, talked about my wife. I know this also talked about my daughters, even though they come behind me. They're folks I see in my oldest daughter, who now has her kids, and I'm seeing how good a mom and how great a mom she is because she learned from a mom. But he knows that because they said to me, they said, how did he pull this out? How did he pull this out? So he does study people. He knows
does. No, he's doing
which relationships are important.
I got some good pictures of your mom, too.
Good.
So she'd be happy because she'd be mad when I pick the wrong ones up.
Yeah. All right, my manhood ish this week. What did I do? You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I took some self-care.
There we go.
I took a little self-care. I said, you know what?
What'd you do?
Just sit on the back porch.
Oh, you did? No, that was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because I realized Tuesday because I showed up.
Yeah,
we were supposed to do
the show.
And I forgot.
Oh, your show got canceled, right?
And he said he had sent me a message.
Yeah, he tried to make me come back and do the podcast.
We got a podcast. He's like, nah, I'm on the back porch. I'm like, all right.
Nah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, that was last week.
Self-care. I've been trying to find something to make it rhyme, like men's health is community health. But self-care for men, should be a high priority.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you got to take some time for you. And so my back porch is my time for me place.
All right.
And if you see me, if I'm on the back porch, I'm not coming off. All right, a little brotherly advice before we go. Oh, before we go, let me give a shout out to we have the Fifth Down Conference coming up, May 9th.
Trailer will be out tomorrow.
The trailer will be out tomorrow on all social media platforms. This conference is for young males who are in the transition, where they're trying to make a decision. What am I going to do? So we're going to have workshops on brotherhood, dream chasing, mental health, pivoting, and identity. It should be great. This is led by 2 high school students. My son is one of them, and his friend Nate is the other. And then, of course, we have the dream team of presenters coming in. So definitely check out if you're able to come. This is during the school day. So if Weaver wants to come, maybe we can get you guys over there.
Sounds good.
And it'll be an amazing conference. a little brotherly advice. I'm gonna come to you. I think you got something good for the people. This is just something to give the men to hold them off till next week.
You know, one of the things that I would say is that understanding that men are challenged. Men are challenged,
yeah,
and that we need to support the men in our community.
I love it.
Brothers supporting brothers.
Yes,
there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And whether as men, whether you have a son or not, get yourself a little brother.
That's right. That's right. I like that. What you got, Greg Jones?
I want to focus in on confidence.
Okay, I like that.
There's a thin line between confidence and cockiness. We want brothers to be confident.
Right.
And confident, it's almost like, sharks in the water can smell it.
Right.
And if you're not confident, they're going in for the kill.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you confident walking in, whatever your dress might be, suit and tie, t-shirt, whatever else, but they see and hear that you belong here,
right,
then you get a different level of conversation. And when they don't react as if they should have, because that doesn't exude confidence.
That's right.
That exudes weakness because you now have to come at a different angle.
I like it.
So understand that because you exude confidence, they may not be received well. And if it's not, you're going to do more in terms of exhibiting that confidence by being positive in general, or I should say positive and genuine in your speaking and engagement with them. So my brotherly advice for the brothers is be confident.
Be confident.
And know that you're confident. It changes how you look, and it changes how people see you and how they perceive you.
I love it. What you got for us? So,
set up a plan.
Set up a plan.
It's the same. If you don't set up a plan to succeed,
those who plan who
set up a plan to succeed, or if you don't set up a plan to succeed, you're setting up a plan to fail, something like that.
If you fail the plan, you plan to fail.
Right. So my whole life is all about plans, like a workflow, I call it.
Yes.
Right. So if you don't have one, and you like I said, reach out to someone you think that you may admire. Find out what their schedule, like their work plan, like how do they get to where they are. So find out someone for you. If it's getting up every day at 8, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna do this, but do these things with the outcome that you want. Right. So the outcome is, let's say, I want to be more knowledgeable about Bitcoin, whatever. Yeah. So I'm going to listen. If you want to read, I listen to like 2 books a month about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm going to take notes on it.
Learn it.
Right. So just do things that you know that will help.
Yes.
Right. You know that if you do that for a month, and you're going to know about Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Right. So just put a plan together instead of waking up every day and just
what are we going to do?
Going at it. Like most people wake up every day like, go at it. And if you do that,
you ain't gonna make
nothing's going to happen.
You gotta have a plan.
Right. So you gotta have a plan. Just get a plan.
Yes.
And if you don't know what plan that is, find someone that you admire and be like, hey man, is this some type of plans you use to get where you at? And
right. My brotherly advice is be consistent. Just kind of if you can just learn how to be consistent. See, some people will tell you in order to make it, you just gotta go after it. What I want to tell you is that if you just do a little bit more every day. You want to write a book, write a couple of paragraphs every day. A lot of times you don't have to think about the end. Just think about what you need to do today. Be consistent with whatever you're trying to do. Every day, show up for the battle and just consistently just keep chopping away at it. Eventually, you're going to get what you want. And sometimes you're going to get more than you could ever imagine. So just be consistent with whatever you're trying to do. Do something every day about what you're trying to make happen. And something's going to happen. All right. That's our show for the day. I want to thank Greg Jones. And I want to thank Brother Kelvin Lovejoy. And of course, Alonzo Lee Beckett. We're out of here, people. See you next week. We'll be back.
Peace.